Well, hold on.
I will gladly answer any question.
We gotta lay the groundwork, right? Because we're now doing a clown show for chat, right? That's what we're doing. So before we get into all this shit, we gotta lay the context. And I feel like there's nobody better to lay the context than fucking Mr. Saint Tontas himself. Saint Tontas, what's going on, man?
I guess I'll start stream.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah, do that. Does anybody want to add Maggie? Who needs to be in this call right now? Who all's involved? I don't want to leave anybody out.
Maggie, Gato. If you want Gato here, I'm not sure if you want. Gato
I don't give a fuck, man. We want to invite the Chinese, the racist Chinese guy.
I want the racist.
Sure, man. Let's get him in here, man. Let's do it. Adam.
I'm just here to listen, bro. This is gonna be so good.
Wait,
he's almost like sitting chomping at a bit.
In 5 seconds.
Hold up. Can somebody add in?
I'm already playing.
Can somebody add in Gateo and Maggie? Do y'all have their things?
I definitely don't have them.
Selkie
does.
I have Maggie. I've never talked to Gato.
Okay, sure. I'm sure Maggie has Gateo. Yeah, y'all Adam, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go piss real quick.
All this over fucking spreadsheets, man.
All of this,
literally all over
bro,
fucking the most nerd shit
I'm gonna be so honest.
Sorry, I don't want to say it. This is so retarded.
Bro.
Actually, over fucking nerd shit, bro.
15,
we are all losers. Can we all admit all of us are losing?
15 fucking percent. We all need to go touch women and touch grass, bro. Consensually, of course, because 15% is fucking insane. I want to be honest. This shouldn't have even fucking happened. Like, what is this? Well, you know, Maggie, I mean, Vaney's actually 15% stronger if you play her fucking optimally, bro. Like, this is, who even cares?
She's actually,
You know who we should blame? We should blame fucking Solon. It's his fault for releasing Zaddy. It's fucking his fault.
True.
Even if this motherfucker's 15% stronger, you can clear all the content, bro. What the fuck is this?
Bro,
like, what is happening? No. Hold on. But my thing is this, bro, and I'm gonna just keep it a stack, right? Straight up, and this is no disrespect for you, but yesterday I felt bad but realistically, crying doesn't mean correct, right? We all said that. But you're crying on stream saying, I don't want drama, I don't want issues, and then you're like, by the way, wait for it till tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm gonna expose the DMs. But then you keep saying, I don't want drama, I don't want issues, but then, by the way, guys, hold on, come tomorrow, like Selkie, realistically, this blew out of proportion because you sat on stream for 4 hours between yesterday and today, talking about 15 fucking percent, bro. I'm about to give someone 15 inches of these nuts. Like, what the fuck is happening, bro? Holy shit!
Look, you're 100% right that these 15% are not worth all this shit. This is fucking dumb as shit. The only problem I had is that Saint Tonta's video that he made on it, where he criticized some things that he said are actually just wrong, and that the final conclusion of 15% power creep is also wrong. I want to clarify what is right and what is wrong. Maggie came on my stream yesterday. I have the VOD. She clarified very clearly that the 15% under the most accurate calculations, with Sweat being there, with Sweat criticizing everything that was
what's a Pridewin calculator in case nobody knows, just so you guys know for the context. Continue. I just want to make sure people know.
He is also a Theorycrafter.
He's a Theorycrafter,
he criticized everything that he could, and we still came out at the same conclusion. So I think calling the conclusion that Maggie's 15% power creep is wrong or a lie or misinformation, that she has an agenda, that is wrong. And I think that video should be either edited or taken down and corrected into what it actually is.
Okay, now I have a genuine question real quick. I have a genuine question as a neutral party, neutrally speaking, because I've been sitting here watching this shit, right? That is not what your stream has turned into. Let's be real.
I know, and I'm sad about that.
Yes, but realize that is not anyone else's fault other than the fact that you are turning your stream into something different. Right? So if the intention of the stream was to say, yo, you know what, man? I'm not gonna lie to you, this 15%, it's true, fine. But that is not what has happened. What has happened is you have taken your frustrations out on Saint on live twice and then milked it, but then said you're not milking it in grandstanding. Do you understand how fucking crazy that is? It's continuous grandstanding. I'm literally watching from the side, bro. I got no fucking reason to side with anyone, right? But does that make sense? Because if that was the original intention, we got now a bunch of people, by the way, hello, Maggie. We have a bunch of people in call right now over something when you're like, I just want peace. No, you don't. Realistically, at the end of the day, if you wanted peace, this wouldn't be the course of action. And I'm going to pivot off of that as well to keep it a stack. Realistically speaking, You, me, no one else, including Techie. Techie, I love you. We are not Maggie or Saint Tontas. There is built up problems there that have occurred over 9 months, which I think is very fair to say. And for us to police Saint's actions because we possibly might like someone is not fair. Have we all spoken to Saint before in private? For sure. Have I said I agree with everything Saint does? No, but have you heard of 50 Cent and Ja Rule? I mean, Ja Rule tried to get 50 killed. 50's going after that motherfucker to the end of time. Is it ruthless? Maybe, but what the fuck? Like, what do you expect? Like what do you expect?
Wait, so
Not
is my character coming into question via this debate right now? If I missed something?
No. Your character's not coming into question. I'm saying that all of us are not involved. It's two separate human being adults that are fighting. And to say, well, I really wish you would handle it this way. Sure, you could say that, but then what happens? You can't fucking crash out on someone for not handling it that way. Saint, let's be honest, bro. How when you and me interacted, you and me first got into a call and you cooked my ass, right? You told me, yo, you're being a dickhead. Straight up, right? The first time me and Saint met, it was because I was a dickhead to him. He's like, yeah, no, you're being an ass. And I'm like, you know what? That's my fault, OG. And then over time, me and Saint have just spoken about things in private. Hey, I don't agree with you this. I agree with you here. All right, cool. It is what it is. But like, you understand what you were doing now, right? Maybe you don't understand. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. But we are now on a call with 6,100 people watching because you
more
are
than
pivoting.
that. We're on live on Twitch and YouTube.
There you go. Yo, YouTube, what the fuck's going on, dogs?
Yeah,
so yeah, just so you know.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Do you know what the term? Do you know what the term cry bullying is, Selkie?
No.
Yeah, essentially it's where somebody goes and cries and says, look, I feel sad, which means that I'm right. And then if you don't listen to me, then you're bad.
I never said I'm right because I cried.
Well, you did say, didn't you see
emotional.
how sad I was yesterday? Like, you did say that verbatim. That is a direct quote.
I did say that, but it never served as the argument that I'm right.
Well, but I think you would.
That is
I
two
think you would.
different
I think you would agree what it would lead people to think, though, right? You can't say because I'm sad, I'm right.
I don't see. I understand that you think that I cried can be seen in a way where me crying might put me in the right, so people believe me more or something like that. But I just got really emotional unexpectedly, and I just was sad. What I do has nothing to do with my crying. I literally said today what I'm doing is also wrong. And
but like
that is factual.
But you admit that like you were like really emotional yesterday. So why then would you go live the next day still being like extremely emotional?
Yes,
like, do you not like you admitted earlier that like, oh no, I don't even know if what I'm doing is right anymore. Like why would you then go live the next day still in that state? Like,
I felt like I was in a dilemma where unfortunately we obviously have the situation where Saint is to some degree rightfully upset at Maggie and goes against her. And to some degree, I can understand it because Maggie has wronged him to some extent. And he made videos on her. And to some degree, I can accept that. But when he keeps making videos on Maggie and keeps calling her out for some things that I even then proceed to prove right, that kind of hurt me. I kind of want to clarify the situation. And I was really unhappy with it. And yesterday, to get to the actual point, yesterday, I was really emotional, and I said that, well, you're calling out Maggie for lies, so let's see, Saint, if you also never lie, or if you also sometimes lie to serve whatever point.
Let's get this straight, right? You 1,000,000% self-inserted into this situation. Because there was not a single video made about you. There's not like a single mention made about you. You just decided like on your own whim that you wanted to be a part of this. And so this whole like dilemma that you're talking about over here, right? Let's be entirely honest. This is 1,000,000% self-inflicted. Like
yes, it is.
You wanted to get in on this.
No, it's not that I wanted to get in on this because it's a calculated plan for my growth as a content creator. I wanted to get on this because I genuinely have empathy for Maggie, and I don't think she deserves that much negativity. That is the main reason.
Okay, but what does that have to do with
why would you make
though?
streams?
because I want to clarify to the public where she's right and where she's wrong.
I just think it's
but
kind
she
of
can do that
dangerous
for
where you're going
herself.
to
Why do
moral
you have to do
Granson and
that?
say you hate drama and then cause drama. Like, what is that?
Like Stokie,
Yeah, that is dumb of
exactly.
me. That is dumb
Like,
of me. You're 100%
Stokie.
correct.
Stokie, hold on. But like again, as I've stated previously, and I even asked you in your chat and you didn't answer, and it's fine. But like, I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but this is really infuriating because like, bro, again, the original point, let's say it was right. I don't listen, 15%, who the fuck cares? If it was right, why are we having this conversation today? The conversation, whether you consciously aware of it or not, is because you just apparently don't like Saint. And this was when you said green light. And then 2 weeks later, this is now coming up as a gotcha moment, and then using a screenshot from like another website or whatever, that is no relevance to the original point. So it has been pivoted, right? It has been pivoted from, hey, I want to show Maggie's right, to now, hey, let me show you why Saint's also a piece of fucking shit. And then you're like, by the way, I don't hate anyone and I'm not trying to cause drama and I don't want drama. However, here's the truth. But in reality, I don't even know if it's a fucking truth. And again, it's a self-insert into beef that don't involve you. And as you said even earlier today on stream, you exaggerated to Saint because you were emotionally invested in the issue and felt betrayed by Maggie. And so you were like, yeah, and you know what? Maybe she wasn't that harsh, but I exaggerated a bit to Saint. How the fuck is Saint gonna know that?
Here's my other thing. If this beef is between Saint and Maggie, why the fuck hasn't Maggie talked a single time and all I'm hearing is Selkie? Like, are you her guardian or what's going on? Like, what's good?
I'm not her guardian. I'm just too empathetic and too emotional.
This feels
that's
like
just genuinely my reason.
This feels like an M-Test Hex Juice Tectone situation. You know what I mean? Like, this could have all been avoided.
I'm gonna be honest, right?
Yeah, I agree. This could have all been avoided.
So this is the thing. I feel like you kind of self-inserted and made this way more dramatic than it needed to be by going ahead and saying that I went ahead and was like openly leaking your DMs. You do realize that the DM that I showed didn't even have your name on it, and then you said it belonged to you. And then just proceeded to like go even further and further with that. So it's like literally nobody knew it was from you in the first place. And it could have been literally just the same exact thing as me just reading it out loud, but not showing it. It's like it doesn't even really matter that much because I didn't say it was from you. And so I guess the mere act that your name wasn't shown after giving the green light, nobody knows it's from you, and then you want to announce that it's from you and then talk about how betrayed it is or how betrayed you felt. It's just like...
I understand where you're coming from. So my side on this is I feel like the conversation we had before, where we have talked, that I have told you specifically, and you know that Maggie has negatively affected my stance towards you. You know that is true. I've confirmed that. I've said, considering that, it is fine for you to go on stream. You said stream. Not video.
You know
stream.
I record videos from my stream.
Then you should have said, I want to record this for my video. Because you didn't specify that, just like I apparently didn't specify that you shouldn't leak my DMs, apparently.
What are we even trying to talk about?
So, hi, Maggie. It's a pleasure to talk to you for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of derailed. So we're all gathered here right now. So what the heck are we trying to talk about? Like, what are we trying to clear up here?
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm wondering that too, because like genuinely, like I know I'm in the wrong. I don't think anyone needs to call me out on that. I've literally fed into the same problem that I'm calling out, and I'm aware of that. I'm doing the same mistake that I'm criticizing, and we are very clearly seen today on stream from both sides that I am a hypocrite, a liar. Am I a liar? Am I?
Oh, probably. Okay, so Selkie's arc is over then. So
sure.
then, so Saint and Maggie, do y'all need to go at each other, or are y'all good? Or is everything? If we all cleared it up?
I think that there's a fundamental few things that we just need to straighten the air about.
Sure.
Right? First and foremost is my initial claims in the first place with the first video I made about the whole Zani 15% power creep situation. The initial claim that I made was that the timings on this sheet are fucked up. Nobody is doing a triple nightfall rotation in 8.6 seconds. That was something that was actively changed and updated. And so this is the thing, right? For people to be going ahead and spreading this narrative that I was wrong or that I was incorrect or that I was spreading misinfo, when the sheet literally gets actively updated to address the thing that I'm saying was wrong, what are we even waffling about anymore? Yes, the sheet got updated, the rotation got changed. It's still not, there's still no record of anyone actually doing it in the time that's indicated. And so, this is the thing, right? If you use the first team's rotation, then you're ahead and you're going to be doing like what, like a 30-second rotation with that in actual gameplay. And so the initial claims that I'm making, I don't know where this whole like misinformation or that I'm lying is even coming from when it was literally acted upon and then stuff was changed afterwards. That's the part that puzzles me and confuses me genuinely.
Okay, great. All right, wait, so Maggie, what is Saint wrong about?
Okay, so let's go to the beginning. Well, one, I didn't say anything about Saint and misinformation and anything.
Yeah, that was mostly Selkie.
Okay.
Okay, so
yeah,
you
Selkie.
brought up that there was an issue with the nightfall timing on the initial spreadsheet, and I will agree and say that there was an oversight in quick swap back timing, in that if you you can swap out of nightfall at the very frame you started, correct? But then when you swap back, obviously since nightfall is a freaking 2.5 second cast, it's still going to be going on if you swap back in a short period of time. The calculator was not taking into account the original time, so I made this change to the script that affects the Zani rotations as well as some other quick swap rotations. For example, Camellia Rocha. So the thing you need to understand about the rotations is that they're all designed around a constraint. The main constraint in the Zani rotation being 25-second cooldown on Shorekeeper, Stellar Realm, and Zani Ultimate. So the original rotation was designed around 25 seconds with that in mind. When applying the bug fix, the rotation time went up by a couple seconds, and there was, in the original rotation, there was also some filler. So you might have noticed that Baby had some extra auto attacks that served really no purpose other than taking up a couple seconds of time. So those were removed in the follow-ups.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, I'm employed. I don't get all this. What's the what are we trying to say? Like, so is the 15% right or is it not right? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, the 15% is still right. I still stand by that.
Okay.
So we've fixed all the issues in the calculator. So myself and other people in my community, everyone's reviewing the spreadsheet. Everything is public, by the way. So you could look at it, point out issues. People have pointed out issues with lots of rotations. I've had several rotations that had some operations that were inaccurate, or there's some things that were not accounted for properly, and we update things all the time.
Okay.
So we updated the rotation, the initial rotation, which calced at 70k DPS. We upon fixing the bugs, it went down to like 66k after removing the unnecessary filler. And then because of the additional time in the rotation, that means there's more room for optimization. Because previously at a 25-second rotation, there's any optimization is kind of like pointless optimization, because like you're gonna be bottlenecked by the cooldown time. So there's not really any extra optimization that needs to go there. But when you're working with like a 27, 28-second rotation, then you have room for additional things you could do. So the rotation has been updated, and to this day, there's still new tech and new strategies being figured out. Like this morning, I implemented some new tech for Spectral Rover. For those who didn't know, so this is not a time scam, as happens for like Shen Liao. When Spectral Rover uses the variation, the time will freeze, but at some point in the animations, like let's say you have Zani casting Nightfall in the background, Zani's Nightfall will continue to process even though the timer's frozen. So I added changes like that as well, which affect the DPS of the triple Frazzle team. So that number's gone up as well. In fact, that number has overtaken the original 70k DPS. It's at like 75k right now, and it's technically a little higher. I could, if you really want, I could open the sheet and explain everything. But
no, I'm good. No, hell no. All right, wait. So Saint Totas, you got a problem with anything that she just said, or no? What's going on?
I was trying to I think I tried my best to catch the main points, and all I'm hearing is that the rotation was changed to fuck ton. There was new tech covered for a team, or there was like new tech discovered for the Spectral Rover team, which is, in all honesty, a triple DPS one. And so if you're going to compare any Spectral Rover teams with Zani and Phoebe, you should be running it with and comparing it to other triple DPS comps if you're going to be comparing DPS numbers. Because let's be entirely real here, triple DPS teams are way fucking harder to play, not accessible to a large majority of players. That's why there's not a lot of gameplay of them, and their DPS is inherently a lot higher because you're using 3 damage dealers, right? And so this is kind of like where the gap, I think, in this whole like theoretical thing is going on. Why aren't you comparing that to other triple DPS teams when we're talking about these damage totals and numbers, knowing that triple DPS teams are all going to be higher? And this is the thing: you're playing this Phoebe team like it's a dual DPS comp, with how many swaps are inherently going on, how many swaps are happening across the rotation, and then we're going ahead and then we're saying 15% power creep with this giga sweaty playstyle that 99% of players are actively not going to actually do, and then making blanket statements like this is 15% power creep over other teams. That's the issue. That's the problem, because it leads to a massive amount of doom posting by people that don't actually play the fucking game, or are just looking at numbers and then coming to conclusions themselves, because there should be a massive fucking asterisk on this whole 70k DPS that we're talking about over here, in that you have to play it like a literal top 1% player to even get close to this number. And for about pretty much 99% of the population, you're not actually getting close to this. But we're not saying stuff like that, right? We're not saying stuff like that where we're making conclusions in our Reddit posts, when we're putting these charts. All we see are these DPS numbers. That's when the team is being played like an absolute freak. But people aren't looking that deep into that, and it's leading to doom posting. And this is the thing. Let's just be entirely honest about the situation and the framing heading on into this. You got caught in the past 2 weeks. You did some pretty heinous shit. You went ahead and you lied about the reason that you got kicked from the WooWa content creator program. You got exposed for that on multiple platforms. And currently your reputation as somebody that provides legitimate information or like legitimate takes about things is not really there. And when you're going ahead and without any disclaimers, or with really hidden disclaimers, pumping out these 15% power creep claims, people aren't really going to be feeling very good about them, knowing the type of inputs, the type of gameplay actually required for you to make a blanket statement like that. This is like literally, why aren't you going ahead and then putting triple DPS teams in the calculation as well, and then showing that they're like 70k DPS as well? Those have been in the game forever, the triple DPS teams, and they have incredibly high fucking DPS. They're the top speedrun teams that are used in content. And then we're going ahead and we're only comparing it to other hypercarry ones when it's being played super sweaty like dual DPS, and then driving forward this narrative that we have this 15% power creep without any of those disclaimers.
There's a lot to unpack. Let's give Maggie a second to respond. Maggie, do you want to respond to this, or is it just what's going on?
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of things said. Okay, let's take the triple frazzle team out of the picture, because that was never the main point of discussion. Okay, so let's put that aside for now. So as someone who does numbers, obviously theoretical calculations should always be taken with a grain of salt. I actually used to have disclaimers on all of my content that say, yes, by the way, theoretical is theoretical, it's not perfect, but it's and it's always trying to maximize the theoretical limit of what you can achieve, because that's literally what theorycrafting is. Obviously, some rotations are easier than others. For example, that's why Jinshi is a very popular team, because her rotation is extremely forgiving and very consistent, and you're allowed to skill issue and you still get extra stacks to compensate. So the DPS in practice turns out to be better than the DPS on the sheet, but no one's ever really complained too much about that one. And same thing with this one. I do the numbers, I calculate the maximum theoretical DPS. it doesn't make sense to hold me accountable if other people are doom posting because they are taking Theorycrafting numbers too seriously.
Well, you're going ahead and you're not providing accurate disclaimers about how you actually reach those numbers. I'm pretty sure if one person saw your gameplay clip where you still exceeded what was on the sheet by about 3 seconds. Imagine showing them that gameplay and then saying, yeah, this is actually what's required to reach the 70k on Zani. Oh, by the way, here's what you need to do on Carlotta to reach her 60k DPS. You can literally you can probably only use one hand, have one tied behind your back, and perform that Carlotta rotation.
All right, wait, Stain, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, okay? These sheets are called theory crafting sheets, right? I'm not on anybody's side here, but I feel like you're really going with the feels crafting sheets right now, where theory crafting in almost every video game I know, it crafts based on perfection, right? And every player wants to play and get closer to perfection, right? It doesn't mean just because the average player is only able to execute this level of power doesn't mean suddenly the theory crafting sheet is like out the window, right? Like very few people can reach that perfection in any of those games, but you know, it's not like
I think the problem was the framing, where it was being said that this is 15% power creep on the game, and Wuthering Waves is heading in a negative direction. I think that's the problem. Was the framing.
I never said Wuthering Waves was heading in a negative direction.
Yeah,
I never said
I'm not claiming you did, Maggie. I'm just saying, like, that's how the community took it, right?
Also, his issue was the frame. Okay, I don't know about the framing. I'm just talking about
what was your base issue? Was it the framing, or was it what you were just saying in general?
So the base issue is that the 15% power creep was initially based off of a sheet with fucked up time calculations, and we're all 100% aware, or hopefully I hope we all are, of the impact of how long something is, what that does to DPS. Where if your moves are actually taking way longer than what's being projected on these sheets or these calculations, your DPS is going to be a lot lower. And so, first and foremost, we're over here doing triple Nightfall in 8.6 seconds. I'm like, how the fuck is anybody doing this? You have to literally be on 1.5x speed to be doing Nightfalls that fast. And so, naturally, if I'm seeing on the sheet that times are understated, which they literally were.
Wait, just verify. Maggie, are the times correct, or were the times incorrect?
The times previously were incorrect, but now they are correct.
Okay.
So yeah.
And there are also some. Those were not the only timings that were off. By the way, there's actually more. For example, the animation cancel timing on her targeted action was never updated, and it was listing the full time of the targeted action, meaning that we actually got some time back there, which is why when everything evens out, the DPS at the end is still the same 70k it was before.
So that's with an entirely different rotation, and this is the thing. My initial claim going into the video is that the timings were fucking off, specifically on the triple Nightfall, which they were, and knowing that the timing is understated, that immediately can lead me to conclude, and pretty much anyone looking at it can easily conclude, that this 15% power creep is not real, even based off the sheet itself, because the timings are understated. Like, you can't reach that DPS number of 70k with the corrected timings on the sheet.
Wait, I have a question. So we have very much updated the entire thing, both for Carlotta with the optimal rotation.
And you made the rotation
as well as Zani.
You made the rotation 30 times, probably not even 30 times, but like 20 times more sweaty with additional tags that are put in, which again is bleeding into the whole. This is being played like a dual DPS team instead of like a traditional hypercarry team, but we're only running comparisons with it to like hypercarry teams. And if we're going so far as to do like dual DPS comparisons, why are we comparing it to like a Changli Zhangli Yao? Why are we comparing it to a hyper-optimized Changli Brant? Why are those comparisons not the ones being made when the team is being played like dual DPS? If you want a more accurate comparison for how sweaty the sheet is getting.
Actually, on the initial video as well, there was on the graph we included the previous Fabi Rover the Shorekeeper rotation, which is the rotation from before Zani was released. And this team also plays very much like a dual DPS. In fact, the damage split of Fabi and Spectral Rover is about 40%, both like 45%. They're doing about an even share. So
okay. I guess that still doesn't get into why are we still comparing it to hypercarry teams like Camellia, Rosia, and Carlotta?
Because every team we're
Jaja.
comparing the best possible outcome that we can get on the sheet.
So why are we
And-
doing Changli Brand, who are dual DPS and they get the fastest speed run times?
Speedrun time is not directly correlated to Theorycraft spreadsheet times, because these speedrun times, you change your rotation to front load damage and specifically have enough damage to finish bursting down a boss within a certain window with the amount of like echoes and gear you have, and it's different for everyone. If you loop the rotation, a speedrun rotation, it does not loop because they're specifically designed in a way to end with the highest damage possible. For example, if you do a Fabi rotation with Zani, you will start out on Confession, and you will end the rotation by going to Fabi Absolution, because Absolution buffs your Liberation, and you will end like that because you get the most damage squeezed into that window. When, obviously, if you proceed with the rotation after that, the rotation's completely bricked because you're on Absolution and it's absolutely useless.
Okay,
Wait,
can I
Jay, why
simplify that?
are you grimacing, Saint? I mean, you know she's not wrong technically. I've
Yeah,
speed ran in a lot of other
Yeah,
guns.
no,
so
I can
you
completely
do have to
understand-
front load a lot of your.
I can completely
yeah.
understand front loading the damage, but I guess we still know that Chang Li, Jinsei, Chang Li, Brandt are still, even without using this front loading tech that we're talking about over here, they still deal a shit ton of damage when played in dual DPS super optimally and super sweaty.
I don't think that's what Maggie's saying. I think it's DPS across
I'm
the
saying,
same
why
amount of
aren't
time
they put
versus-
into the comparison too? If we're gonna get giga sweaty and put in absurd rotations that we can't even replicate, we can't even replicate those
Can Maggie
rotations.
make a sheet like segment that just shows what speedrunning a speedrunning team would eventually have across an X amount of time versus like a more stable?
I don't even think we need to get into the speed running, because I am pretty confident you could run a Jinsei Chang Li team or a Chang Li Brandt team to loop as well. I'm pretty confident you could think of a rotation, a super sweaty one. If we're gonna go that far for the Zani team, we could make one for the Chang Li
You
Brandt
could, I mean,
or
this
Chang Li out Chang Li.
calculator's public. You could try making one right now.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not over here claiming 15% power creep.
Bro,
Well,
you know, I feel like all of this
let
would be
me-
fixed if Saint just made a sheet himself.
I'm not the
Yeah,
one
I think
saying
Saint
that
should
there's
make
15.
a
I'm not.
himself.
I'm not the one saying that there's
listen,
15% power creep. Why do I need to make
Listen,
the sheet?
I love this argument. It's fun, but like, bro, I feel like it's, and I say this because I've been in like the Genshin space for TCing for so long and see so many people rise and fall in the TC space. It's always so easy to criticize a TCer when you're not the one doing the math.
Yeah.
and-
So
I'm saying if you do the math, we could just do the math versus the math and see whose math is more correct.
So I
Yep.
need to go ahead, and someone's making a crazy claim of 15% power creep using a super.
No.
sweaty
You could say
optimized
everything
rotation.
you're saying. No, saying 100%.
Super
You're
sweaty
right in
optimized
saying
rotation.
no,
And
everything
then I
you're
have to
saying.
go
You're
ahead
allowed
and then
to.
make a sheet showing the dual DPS of Chang Li Brandt, of Chang Li Zhang Li Yao, of Jinsei Chang Li to prove that the 15% power creep is not as high, when the person that's literally the one curating the data that has like all of this past record of making sheets isn't willing to do the same. That's what I'm saying makes it look like a narrative. When we're going at looks like a narrative and an agenda, when we're going ahead and we're playing this team in a super sweaty dual DPS way, but we're not running comparisons to similarly sweaty dual DPS teams.
No,
Wouldn't-
100%.
wouldn't
I think you're allowed to say everything you're saying right now, and you know, it's like a lot of it's true. But in a Theorycraft versus Theorycraft discussion, the easiest way to discredit someone is to just hit them with your own math. It is, because
Yeah,
like
that-
the other side of the argument, like I think I was watching Glaive the other night, and he was talking about how he would also take your claims so much more seriously if you showed numbers, because a lot of it does feel like you're just coming from an angle of fields crafting, and it would just shut down Maggie so much harder if you just had the numbers.
This is the thing.
Hang on, I have something to add. Yeah, it's not like I've never run freaking Chun-Li rant calculations. If you go to the Village Library, you can in fact see the execution history for the tens or even hundreds of iterations of Chun-Li rant that have been cooked up, and the highest I've been able to get a loopable rotation for them to is about like low 50k DPS. So if you think there's a better rotation, feel free to craft it.
Yep.
Okay, wait. On the other flip side, I have been giving Saint a lot of shit here. Maggie, is there a reason? I swear I saw a title from you that specifically said 15% power creep. Do you actually think Google has power creep?
Yeah, numbers went up. Okay. Just
okay,
like when Carlotta was released.
What is the basis on power creep? Because the power creep is like based on
maximum potential damage.
Okay, but like if the content is already clearable with this minimum amount of damage, does the maximum truly matter?
I mean, technically yes, because you're still clearing faster, but that was never the point, Like, okay, let's be
real.
but
like, does clearing faster matter if you're already clearing well ahead of this?
Yeah, it does matter, because like think of people who are like not union level 50, people who are kept at level 80, or maybe even before that. People want to know what the maximum potential of a team is. Like if you want to say, this team has like this potential, this team has like 1.4x potential, I think that's all very useful information to have, which is why I do theory crafting in the first place, right? Because, I mean, we have to be real. At the end game, none of this content is remotely close to like cutting edge difficult where you need the most powerful craft. I mean, people do freaking like solo dungeon, solo freaking
I'm gonna be real.
Stuff,
I have S6 Cantarell and I can't beat hologram 6s or the new ones. Like that shit's hard as fuck. Like I don't know, maybe I'm
skill issue, dog.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And I just
no, that's because Cantarella sucks, bro.
I have a genuine question though, because I feel like yeah, she does suck. I have a question though, like with this 15% power creep, right? Because I feel like this conversation, it should be more suited to I feel like this conversation should have happened, let's say, when the next Arrow DPS comes out, and then compare it to a 1.0 character as opposed to right now. Like realistically, I'm gonna just keep it a stack. No one in this call, respectfully, can fucking do that. So this 15%, I understand why you say like, oh, power creep exists, but it doesn't really exist.
I could if I tried, but I agree. Nobody else besides me could.
He would. When we do it?
I would do it.
So to me, I feel like it's kind of a weird framing where it's like, and I don't think, listen, I personally don't think you're doing this maliciously, but when we say power creep exists, but power creep exists for the 0.2% players who are on Billy speedrunning the fuck out of everything. Like, let's just say WUWA has 2 million active players. Maybe 20 of those motherfuckers are doing this. So I'm not going to sit here and say, don't do your sheets. I personally don't give a fuck. Do your shit, man. But like, when we frame it as, hey, power creep exists, and then let's keep it a stack. There's 6,000 people in Techie's chat. Maybe 10 of them can possibly do this rotation. It's really not power creep.
12,000. 12,000. I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube.
12,000. Sorry, my fault, OGs. Hi, YouTube. So I just feel like it's a little bit weird. Does that make sense? Like, that's why it comes off a bit disingenuous. It's not trying to personally attack you, but like when you look at, let's say, Arlecchino to Mavica's dumb easy to use. I just fucking apply Hydro or Cryo ult, and then I'm up 1 million damage. Right now, I know someone's gonna clip that out of context. Well, actually, not 1 million, whatever the fuck.
I think what is happening here is Saint is saying power creep doesn't exist because for the average player, they aren't reaching those potentials, and so like it doesn't really exist in Wuthering Waves, which I think most of us would agree, right? And I think Maggie's saying in a theoretical maximized potential, which I mean a lot of theory crafters do calculate off that, power creep exists because technically, if you're a fucking iRobot from Will Smith's movie and you're fucking playing it perfectly, right? Then you might be able to visually see that, oh my God, I cleared that 15% faster. So like maybe this is where the disconnect is coming. One person is playing off of theoretical like perfection and one person is playing off
That's what I'm saying. They're in practice, and there's nothing wrong with showing the hypothetical what the max potential could be, right? But when we frame it as power creep is happening, you also have to realize that, again, this is no personal disrespect for you, but it's not to how do I say this? You lied about the WUWA shit, and so if someone feels like, well, now you're intentionally lying about this, it's really not that far of a reach to someone be like, all right, now they're trying to push this agenda because they're salty. Again, I don't personally think you are, but we just got to be honest here. And so like the framing is just weird because a small percentage of people can do that. And with the unfortunate timing of when, you got caught lying, this is now happening. And then obviously Selkie self-inserting himself to White Knight has just blown this up into a bigger proportion that didn't need to happen.
True. Yeah, guys, I'll be real. Let these adults handle their own shit. Stop being white knights. Make things a lot easier. Don't be an MTash, guys. Don't be an MTash.
Where, to me, as someone who I go, it's just gamers, MTash here. Like, this is where this is happening. So, does that make sense? Like, does that make sense? Or
what if Saint and Maggie just played
Among Us?
No, just played. What was
fiction.
that? Yeah, split fiction together.
Split fiction.
Okay, I saw
bro.
Saints. I saw Saints say "Get away from me, freak" or whatever earlier. Saint, it'd be banger content.
What I actually said, Fob, was "Get the fuck away from me."
Okay, my
yeah,
bad.
Yeah, let's be entirely honest about that one there.
All right, wait, Saint. If you had to choose to play split fiction between Maggie, Mr. Poke, or Genazad, who would you choose?
Damn.
Oh.
Bro's gonna buy a second computer and play with himself.
That's like asking me like who would I prefer? Actually, no. That's probably too deep.
No,
of a
say
comparison.
it.
I was.
It's
like you only have one bullet. You only have one bullet.
Don't make it too dark, bro. You're gonna do something again. Someone's gonna get pissed off again.
Yeah, I'll be real, man. I think the correct answer is Genocide, bro. I think you and Genocide's beef is gay as fuck. I think y'all need to get over it. That's just my opinion, though.
True.
Yeah, you should keep going after Mr. Pokey, though. That's just funny as fuck. Hey, Maggie, I also want to say, I really appreciate you coming on my stream today. It was you've been a very nice aura, and I've enjoyed hearing you talk. And I know you probably had a little bit of anxiety coming on this, but I'm very proud of you, and I'm glad to have you on my stream. And I hope that you know that you're very welcome here, and we're all very appreciative of you. Just want to say that. Also, thank you for the input as well, Fob. So, anyways, we still got shit to fight about. Are we done, or we keeping going? What's good?
No. There was one last point. I think Selkie had with the right. I mean, since we're all here anyways, Maggie, you might as well talk about what those messages where you specifically said you didn't point any fingers towards anybody, right? But then Saint showed those DMs or those like server messages. Would you admit that was insinuating Saint?
Gulp.
Shut up, Itomo.
Fob just changed teams.
Bro, I wasn't on any teams. I was motherfucker.
Bro, the team that Fob needs to go on is Barber. We got to get you a new haircut, brother.
Hold on, let Maggie speak. Let Maggie speak. Yo, Maggie, you good?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we're good. Okay, so, I mean, the way you want to interpret how that is always up to you. I can't, whatever I say about, like, my intentions behind what I said there, no, there's no way to prove if it's one way or another. But I will say that I don't think it was fair to put out an insinuation there when there are people that are out there who can be, thought to be the target of said insinuation.
So I guess my response to that is, isn't it pretty fair for a lot of people, especially a lot of your longtime community members, viewers, etc., the Discords you frequent, when you're actively on the record talking shit about me, right? Specifically, even on, I think it was April 15th, is when you were still harping on and complaining about getting second place in the creator contest. Yeah, April 15th of this year, which is I think a couple of days before you announced your departure from the program, right? There's literal DMs, not even DMs, public Discord messages of you complaining about losing to me in the contest and then talking about how shitty Wuba content is. I think it's pretty fair that when you have a literal public track record of, shit talking me at so many different points, and those are only the most recent ones, right? And so if you're still fucking salty about this shit 6 months after the contest, imagine how salty you were the day of, and the months following after the day of. I mean, I think it's pretty fair that people are going to easily draw insinuations considering all the shit that you've been saying. So I really think this whole absolving yourself of responsibility and then leaving it up to interpretation of whoever's seeing it when you're actively going ahead and then saying all this shit, I think that's a pretty I think that's a bit of a rat move. I'm gonna be honest. I think you're going ahead and you're really giving yourself a lot of benefit of the doubt here when you're literally on the record. I can show the screenshots too. It'll take me a minute to find them, but I've got the screenshots of you talking shit as recently as April 15th.
Gulp.
Should I go find them?
Loop.
No, I think this case is pretty much over and shut. I think we're all done here, boys. What do y'all think?
I feel like there's really not much more to talk about this. We've already gone through all of this.
Sure. Well, I guess it's up for everyone else to decide. This has been your latest episode of Gotcha Court. Who do you think is innocent? Who do you think is guilty? This is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
I know who's guilty. It's Timothy Randy. He's fucking Viewbotting.
Bro got 3.2K views right now.
Okay.
Wait, is he doing that right now?
32% real viewers, bro.
Yeah,
No, so he got front page access because Twitch has this application you could just do for front page access, and then he's obviously just been viewbotting constantly, but now he's just at the top of the WUA category.
Well, I
If there's someone I hate more than 2, it's Timothy Randy, bro. I can't lie.
For 3.6K viewers and a slower chat than fucking like a 100 viewer chat, like.
Bro, it's a single mod and a single VIP.
I don't know, Bob. Sounds like you're hating to me, brother.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's me hating. It's just me hating.
Clearly, what did Timothy Randy do to you, bro?
Yeah, no, clearly.
You know what Timothy Randy did? He signed up for a HSR streaming program, took the fucking prize money from all these other content creators who actually tried their asses off, and then his bum ass is over there paying for view bots.
He won, right?
No,
Yeah,
he got some type of placing. It was just like cringe.
That's so fucking.
I think he got money, no? Did he
that
get
is
money?
so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Surely the viewbotting
got
costs
money,
more
yeah.
than what he wins, though. Or was he
I don't
fucking
know.
Bob, what
well,
you
no,
should
because
do
it's not
is
active. It's just watching. There's no like chatting.
Twitch can't even do anything. I've reported it, and they're like, we literally can't do anything.
So
Yeah.
there's a viewbotting problem en masse on Twitch. And the worst thing is that nothing's going to be done about it because it's good for the website that it happens. Because they can sell to advertisers that there's more active users than there actually are in order to secure more sponsors wide for pre-rolls and mid-rolls on Twitch. So it's an issue that everybody's going to just have to deal with. And I've given up trying to combat this about 3 years ago with the blatant Genshin and backbotting, which, I mean, I'm sure at this point we all know that companies viewbot their streamers. This also happened with another big controversy with Progressive viewbotting their streamers. It's just things that companies do, and it's kind of just a losing battle. The only way that you can beat it is just take comfort in knowing that any of these people that see Timothy Randy's stream are going to be met with a sub-tier product, and they'll leave immediately, and just hopefully you're in the second spot. So, you know, I mean, I've already confronted this guy many times over the years that he's a blatant fucking viewbotter, and nothing's going to fucking change, unfortunately.
Bob, you should make a video about it, and then we can all react to it.
Bro, there's no point. It's literally a pointless thing. He's basically come out before he's addressed it and said there's someone aggressively viewbotting him, like he's being attacked by viewbotters, which makes no sense because they happen to coincide with streaming events. Like what?
Hey, just do the same thing that he's doing then.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, you guys should play Tribe 9. Bye-bye.
That game,
Game's dead, bro.
That game is
Game's
ass.
dead.
Game's
dead.
Tribe 90,000. Tribe 90,000.
Game's dead.
Shut the fuck up. It had more players than Wizardry for a day.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm out. This was fun. I'll see y'all later. Peace.